Woo! Good morning, everybody. Thank you for staying put and sitting tight. You are tuned in to the TMI show, the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI for short, because we bring you way too much information on this Thursday, October 30th, day before Halloween. So obviously, technical difficulties, but Ted and I both actually believe it's not on my part. We think it's on Rumble's part.
100%. It's not your fault, Manila. It's their fault.
I can't believe it's not my fault, but it's actually not.
Well,
but yeah, we had everything set up going in like hours ahead of time. The Rumble studio seemed to be operational. I was seeing our countdown clock and everything was right. Ted did the raid right. Everything was right. It's blasted to YouTube. It's blasted to Odyssey. Everything else was live except our home base, the Rumble feed.
Yeah, it's annoying. And I double checked everything, and it's definitely not your fault. So yeah, I'm not going to make any jokes about like girls can't do technology.
I really can't. Yeah, I'm not even gonna poop on myself today, Ted. I normally do, and wow. So I'm giving everybody a moment to migrate over from YouTube. We told the YouTube viewers we're leaving the Rumble room open, the channel open. Because we'll just upload it there later anyway. So if you guys are watching, bless you, Ted. If you guys are watching live right now, it's obviously on YouTube, and so we're letting everybody trickle on over because the directions are on the Rumble chat room. We've explained what's going on there. So anyway, so on today's show, we're gonna try to still cram everything in to an appropriate amount of time. So with that, we're live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Please be sure to hit the like, the follow, the subscribe, and the share button to help our little channel continue to grow. The Ted Manila Information Show starts now, and Ted Rall is going to do the very first story.
Housekeeping, though, Manila. Aren't we supposed to like sort of preview the show a little bit and say we'll be talking about this,
we're ditching that.
this?
No,
I thought we were going to just. I don't think we talk long. I think we should just be like, in one sentence, we'll be doing Iraq, Somalia.
Like just the topics?
Yeah.
Without comment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Without comment. Okay, we're going to talk about major media layoffs now that Barry Weiss is officially in at Paramount. That's one thing. Science has discovered some new stuff way deep in the ocean, Ted. That's scary. Another scary thing, I don't know what this actually means for us, but there's a story about how the symmetry between Earth's northern and southern hemispheres have broken down. I thought you would be interested in that story, Ted. That's a
totally.
Ted story. And last but not least, the inspiration for the thumbnail today, of course, it's the day before Halloween. There's a lawsuit in China over a family suing a school. We don't know how old their daughter was, but apparently the school showed a scary movie. But this is 2 Halloweens ago. So this, Ted, goes to show that Halloween is spreading all around the world. I saw it happen in Dubai. Yes. Anyway, they showed a scary movie and the girl went insane.
Ooh.
Weird.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so those are the stories. So with that, we'll head to the first.
See, I was tempted to comment, but I refrained.
I know. Good job.
It's so hard, really. All right, here we go. Paramount began laying off 2,000 people 2 months after David Ellison's extremely poorly named Skydance brought.
I don't really hate it. I don't hate that name. You hate it.
I don't hate it. It's like the Lord of the Dance, you know, like. It's like I always imagine John Wayne saying, "Truly, he was the Lord of the Dance." Anyway, after Skydance bought the company for $8 billion, in an email, Ellison said the layoffs were designed to make the new combined media conglomerate a strong, future-focused company. You know, I always love, by the way, when you get laid off and the company says, "Ted, we're laying you off," or "Manila, we're laying you off so that we can become more forward-looking." And it's like, so am I backwards? Am I retrograde? Don't answer that question. Anyway, Ellison, the
That's
chairman.
code for AI, Ted. That's
Yeah, it's code for it's sort
code.
of like we're going in a new direction, i.e.,
Yes.
away from you.
That is today's code, because we'll talk about this in the commentary part, but that is code for AI, and I'll explain why.
Yes, it is. Ellison, chairman and CEO of Paramount Skydance, said the move was focused on addressing redundancies. In other words, you're a redundancy, goodbye, and eliminating roles that are no longer aligned with our evolving priorities, those are just words that are multisyllabic, but that mean absolutely nothing. He did not say which divisions would be affected, like the film and TV studio or this old thing called CBS News. People familiar with the company's plan said 1,000 people would be laid off Wednesday, with the other half to be notified soon as the result of the restructuring. CBS News will close its South Africa bureau, because when has news ever come out of South Africa? And will end Mornings Plus and Evening News Plus, which are the streaming only extensions of the morning and nighttime broadcast.
Oh.
Have you ever noticed, Manila, that whenever there's like a plus, like CNN Plus, New York Times Plus, its days are numbered the day that it opens, right? It's like you never want to be Manila Plus.
Oh, well, it's like
want
the
to be
plus
Manila. Sorry, go ahead.
It's like the +1, Ted. Like you want to be the person invited to the wedding or to the party. You don't want to be the +1, because if the wedding list has to shrink because of budgets, the named guest doesn't get cut. The +1s get cut.
That's true. This is exactly what happens with Gilligan's Island. You're the rest, and the rest is easy to lay off. So
no, you can't lay off like the professor and Marianne.
No, I love. Well, that's why they they renegotiated and they became So that whole story. Anyway, it was this plan. The deal to buy Paramount by Skydance was scrutinized by the FCC under Trump's chairman, Brendan Carr. They approved the deal after Paramount settled a lawsuit with Trump. Interesting coincidence there. Over a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris for $16 million, and agreed to appoint an ombudsman at CBS News to review allegations of bias and eliminate DEI initiatives. Earlier this month, Paramount Skydance bought conservative opinion journalist Barry Weiss's website.
She's not a conservative.
The Free Press. This makes me laugh. What do you think it is?
She's not a conservative.
1999, they paid $150 million for this website and named her editor-in-chief of CBS News. That's so fucking funny. This week, John Dickerson, the co-anchor.
Oh, if I were him, I'd be so pissed.
Oh,
I'd be so pissed.
He said he will leave.
Or like Major Garrett. Yeah, Major Garrett. He's been there for like 100 years. Like, I'd be pissed.
Well, I mean, because she is. I mean, it's a grift. Barry Weiss is a worthless piece of shit, and like
with
basically, she shouldn't be
this much media experience.
She should not
zero
be running,
TV.
She should not be running a high school newspaper, much less a major legacy news organization.
Crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, basically, Barry Weiss means nothing. This appointment means everything. It's an indication of a dying organization whose aged, stupid leaders are desperate, and they're to stay relevant and to save themselves. And they're like, it's a Hail Mary pass. Maybe this will work.
Because they think because she's like a 40-year-old, they're like, well, CBS has like the oldest. CBS has the oldest of the age demos of legacy media, like the oldest. And I'm telling you this from having experience working for them. This is the old. I mean, Ted, part of my directive in my contract for when I worked for them at local, no joke, as a CBS policy, we were banned from wearing anything with no sleeves.
What?
Not a cat. And they specifically said, as TV presenters, reporters, hosts, whatever, you had to have at least a sleeve. It could
like on one side.
Sleeve. No. Both arms cannot be exposed that much. You have to cover at least, like half the length from your shoulder to your elbow. So preferably
lest there be riots. Does this rule apply to men?
Well, the men always had to have long sleeves. It was like, unless you were out in the field, doing like, I don't know, some sort of mud run thing or whatever. So outside of that, normal studio, work for us ladies, we had like the Catholic school uniform rules. The skirts couldn't be more than half an inch above our knees. And the reason I'm saying this is because this goes to show how old and elderly the demographic watching CBS was. And they were offended by seeing women's knees and our elbows.
Well, they weren't offended. The people who ran the network thought they would be offended, which is not the same thing by any means. Right?
I suppose you're right. But that was part of my contract.
I mean, my experience with print media editors was that they always thought that the readers were really, really stupid, and the readers were American, so they were stupid, but they weren't really, really stupid.
Right? Not that stupid, but that's basically my takeaway from my contract.
The editors were stupider than the readers.
For sure. That was my takeaway from the contracts, was the way we needed to word the stories. We couldn't use like hip vernacular. It's specifically, there was like a booklet about how you had to present. And my takeaway from all of that was, so if you use modern language, you from pop culture in the past 30 years, you have to explain. Like, that was in the manual. Like, you have to explain what, if you're saying like, that's hot.
Hey, hep cat.
It's not actually physically temperature hot.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding. That was like in the manual.
That was in
about
there?
Working there. That was in there. So like when you write your story, when you write your package, but they went in a roundabout way to explain to the on-air staff that you're basically catering to 80-year-olds. So you have to talk in their language.
My experience with 80-year-olds is that they are always underestimated, right? Like everyone's like, oh, they can't stand cursing or talking about sex. No, they're 80. So they've been around longer than anyone else. So they've seen everything. You can't shock an 80-year-old, okay? 80-year-olds, and they don't care, right? Like, it's
they don't care.
Everything fucking hurts. My back hurts. My ass hurts. I don't fucking care if someone's like, who they're fucking, why they're fucking, how you call it, if you use the word fucking, I don't care.
They really don't care. They really don't. So anyway, it's all stodgy. So they thought they'd bring in this Barry Weiss, and I think largely
and who's an evil Zionist, I should point out too.
Her views are aligned with the Ellisons, and putting Israel first. So that was the main thing. But right now, it's all eyes on CBS because of this insane deal that she got for $150 million for her stupid, 4-year-old website. I mean, that's literally, she opened it during COVID. Like she launched it during COVID, and I can point to a number of shows, Ted, that are shows or websites on Rumble. Forget being on YouTube, on Rumble, that outperformed her little website day after day after day, month after month after month. No one's offering them $150 million. It's because she's aligned with the Ellisons and, their vision of what they want to do in terms of spewing Zionist propaganda to offset. I mean, that's also why the Ellisons are buying TikTok, right? Like I don't know if they're going to be wholly owned by the Ellisons, but
partly.
The Ellisons, partly owned with other wealthy people. So I guess that's supposed to be hammered out today, Ted, the TikTok deal. So we're going to wait and see who the actual investors are, the American investors. So we're waiting on that. But I think the thing to take away from the younger Ellison, David Ellison's comments about all these layoffs, Ted, is if you read between the lines, what he's basically saying is we're looking through every department piece by piece to see whose jobs we can replace with AI. And that's
Yes.
and I'd been reading about other entities like Amazon properties, which, remember, Amazon has a whole studio, right? Amazon has like they have publications, Amazon owns a suite of media outlets.
Yes.
They're doing the same thing. I read Business Insider. A lot of all of these big corporate media outlets in print and streaming, if you read like industry rags about it, all the workers seem to be posting on Reddit and stuff and Glassdoor and whatever, saying the murmurings they're here. The AI redundancies are here, that these jobs are about to get cut. So I think while we're only looking at CBS in this particular story, I think the big story here is that I pray for them, because this happened to us right before the holidays, Ted. And even though a lot of these media people danced on our graves when we got laid off last year,
I remember it. I remember it well.
I don't wish the same on them, because I'm not an evil person, and we're right ahead of the holidays. I don't wish this on them, but a lot of people are expecting to go into 2026 and get a pink slip and say, your job's being replaced by AI, because AI can now design that full screen graphic that I need. I don't need you.
It can.
Anymore.
I mean, the thing is, I will say, I'm going to go back to that something I always return to, Seinfeld quote, when he was asked about like with the internet, there's so many thousands of comedians, and so there's more comedians, and he's like, yeah, but there's the same number of good ones. And in terms, AI is not as good as a professional graphic artist. It just isn't, and you can tell the difference. It's sort of like how citizen photographers with a phone, they have the advantage of sometimes being somewhere where a professional photographer isn't, but they're not as good. They're just
Ansel Adams. They are not, Ted.
No, they're not.
So I think that's the bigger story, like beyond the Ellisons, beyond Barry Weiss. I think sadly, it doesn't mean these layoffs aren't going to happen, Ted, and that more people are going to wind up like you and I. And I think for a lot of those people, they're so part of the institution that I don't know that they're going to be able to pivot and actually move into new media. Because they never did adopt what we're doing here. They never did adopt streaming. They never did adopt. Like, I don't know. So I don't know what's going to happen to a lot of those people. I mean, obviously, John Dickerson is leaving. He's been there a lifetime before I was there at CBS in Arizona. I remember tossing to packages from him. Major Garrett's been there for like 100 years. So, so many of these people, I don't think they're going to make the pivot to, not that I feel bad for them. These are multimillionaire reporters.
Yeah, and I was going to say, they've been, and they're older. I mean, honestly, you're 72 years old, and you've had an opportunity, if you didn't have a coke habit, to, save millions of dollars. You should be okay.
Yeah, they should be fine. So, but then there's the younger, the middle-aged people, the Gen Xers, people in our age group that are kind of stuck somewhere in the middle. I'm not too worried about the youngest of the millennials or even the Zers that are about to get their jobs cut. That 1,000 more. I'm not worried about those people. Like they are media savvy and they know what they need to do. It's
well, I still worry about them. I mean, look, losing your job blows always, right? Sure. I mean, it sucks, and there's nothing more to be said about it than that. It's
closing South Africa bureau. Doesn't that cover all of Africa?
No, South Africa. Oh, that's a good fucking question, right?
I think that's the home base. That's the bureau, and then from the bureau they send reporters across the continent. That's my recollection anyway, but that was 15 years ago. I mean, I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
What's happening in Africa? Why not shut it down? Why shut down your Africa bureau?
Yeah, it is strange.
So I don't know. I don't know what's happening to the folks at CBS. I feel, look, for us, Ted, I know at Sputnik, we had times where we were warned that we might get shut down. Right? Shut down is different than being made redundant. It's a different thing. I mean, the net result is the same, but we've been nervous a couple of times, Ted, you and I, about whether or not we were getting paychecks. But it's not because we were going to be replaced by machines. It was whether or not the U.S. government was going to continue to allow us to have jobs. And we've been warned before, so it's been scary, right? We know what that's like. It fucking sucks. It really fucking sucks. So a lot of these people have families. I feel for them, even if they didn't feel for us. I feel for them.
They didn't give a shit about us.
No,
but that's okay.
But we're decent human beings, Ted. So that's the difference. They hate us because they think we're Russian propagandists or whatever. They bought into their own bullshit, and didn't see us as humans, and they didn't stand by us. So
true. And I got to say that's part of why. I mean, it's just a simple matter of fact that there's very little solidarity in American journalism, and the powers that be take advantage of that fact to fuck us over.
Yeah. Oh, of course. So that's that. But anyway, that's what's happening across the media industry. So I suspect, Ted, in the coming weeks, we're going to see a slew of people attempting new channels.
Oh, you're probably right.
New competition, Ted.
That's
joining
so
us
funny.
here in the streaming world. But we were ahead of the game. We got laid off way before.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's true. I mean, we're not like early adopters, but we're pretty early, and mid-range, I would say, would be an accurate statement.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what this looks like in a few weeks, Ted. All right. Next story. This one spooks me. You scuba dive, so you know my feelings about going in the deeps now that I've had the poopy diaper story. So I don't know. This is a different kind of scary to me. Okay, so scientists have discovered 30 new species in the deep recesses of the Southern Ocean. I don't even know where that is, Ted.
Well, it's in the Southern Ocean.
In the South.
I
think it's in the Southern Hemisphere.
I would think.
Okay, so somewhere in the depths of what's called the Southern Ocean, which I cannot find on a map.
Well, it's probably, I can't find that.
Ocean.
Do they mean south? I mean, I guess, do they mean along? They must mean around Antarctica, right?
I don't know. It says the Southern Ocean, and I haven't had time to look it up, including iridescent scale worms and a carnivorous, scientists, mind you, are calling it the deathball sponge. That is not a name Manila made up. That is what the scientists have dubbed this thing they just discovered. So it's a small, round sponge. Okay, I'm going to try. Of the genus Chondrocladia.
Obviously.
It's done. It's covered in tiny hooks that trap prey, according to the Nippon Foundation Nekton Ocean Census, which confirmed the discoveries. The scale worms of the genus Eulagiska are armored and glow faintly blue. Scientists also detailed new kinds of sea pens, sea stars, bivalves, and black corals found in the ocean depths. Overall, researchers collected thousands of specimens and photos from the floor of the Southern Ocean, searching in trenches around dormant volcanoes and near hydrothermal vents. In their searching, they uncovered new coral gardens and recorded the first ever footage of a juvenile colossal squid.
Ooh, that's cool.
On one
Wonder
foray,
how big it is.
I don't know. A juvenile. I don't know.
Well, you know,
On
it
one
is. I mean, it
foray,
is. Those things are like crazy. They're like 50 feet long or something like that.
with the tentacles or just the body part?
I think including the tentacles. I mean, the tentacles count. It's sort of like it's like when you ask, like, oh, is that with an animal? How long is it? Oh, does that include the tail? Like what? The tail's chopped liver? The tail counts.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to think of like just the body, like the torso, like if of an animal
Yeah, I know.
when
I
I'm counting
understand.
the length.
I kind of feel like tail. I think tail counts. You know, it's from toe. I think it's from nose to tail. Is the way I would assess this.
But see, when I think of that, I think of like horse, the nose to tail. You don't count the tail. You count how many hands, as they call it, from hoof to the top of its head or no, back. Sorry,
Wait,
to
so
the top of its
wait,
back.
so there's a tail exception for horses?
They don't count. No, when they say how tall is the horse, they count it from the bottom of its hoof
Okay, but
to the top of its back.
Manila,
So they don't even count its head.
That's how tall it is. Okay, like of course
Yeah.
the tail
So
doesn't
how?
come into play. The
So
tail
how?
would not make the horse taller. The tail
So when you
would
say
make
it's like
it longer.
if it's a 50-foot body of a giant colossal squid, I'd be like, God, that's huge. And then you add the tentacles of another 30 feet, and you're like, oh my God, that's
Yeah,
a
but that's
giant
different. I
thing.
mean, with the horse, you understand, like the tail equivalent is the ear on the horse because you're looking at height. So the question is, do you count the ear? And I
But
don't
they
know
don't
the
even
answer.
count. They don't
Do you
count the
count the
head.
ear?
They count to the back. That's the official height measurement of a horse.
I feel like horses' ears are getting short shrift then.
No,
Literally.
they don't even. So basically, from its shoulders up, they don't count that as how tall a horse is. A horse is counted from where you saddle up all the way down to its
Mhm.
hoof. That's as tall. So it could have like the longest. You can have an obscenely long horse neck and head, like giraffe
What if
long,
its ears
and
were
it wouldn't count.
crazy, like a
And it wouldn't. It still wouldn't
jackrabbit
count.
horse?
Wouldn't count. They count it from the back where you saddle it down.
See,
I don't know.
I feel like
I'm not
that's
an animal.
really earophobic.
It's headophobic. So that's why I say, like, okay, I don't know. I stay out of the ocean, so I don't know how they count colossal squid length. But anyway, so on this foray, they also uncovered, Ted, the calving of a massive ice shelf on the Antarctic Peninsula.
Okay, so that's the answer to your Southern Ocean
right.
question.
So I guess it's that area around the Antarctic.
Yeah, it's the ocean that
Yes.
surrounds the Arc. Yeah, where there's really no meaning down there to Pacific or Atlantic, right? Not really.
Okay. Finding an array of sea life that had previously been sealed beneath more than 400 feet of ice. So 400 feet of ice under the ocean, right? So think of the Antarctic
So
Peninsula.
climate change is revealing this stuff. Yeah.
Correct. I think that's what they're alluding to here. They say the Southern Ocean remains profoundly undersampled, says Michelle Taylor, head of science at the Nippon Foundation Nekton Ocean Census. It's a really bad, clunky name. To date, we only have
Maybe it just rolls off the tongue in Japanese.
Nippon Foundation Nekton Ocean Census. To date, we have only assessed under 30% of the samples collected from this expedition. So confirming 30 new species already shows how much biodiversity is still undocumented. Trump's going to deport them.
Well, it's also people are always amazed at how much life there is in an inhospitable place, right?
So all of that. So scientists estimate there are as many as 2 million species in the ocean, but of these, just 240,000 have been formally identified. Finding new species, they say, could lead to breakthroughs in conservation, in medicine, and materials in science. The Nippon Foundation Nekton Ocean Census has set a goal of uncovering 100,000 new ocean species. So Ted, that's all sorts of things. So maybe because I have this, this late found fear of the ocean after the diapers, and then I started hearing the new stories about the depths of the ocean. But I forget who it might have been in conversation with an astronaut, but I realized that we have, as a country, we have invested our science money more into like NASA and into science over the decades than we have, and this is outside of our planet, than we have ever invested into learning about our oceans and the depths of like this is within our planet. They're only guessing that there's 2 million species in the ocean, Ted. They really don't know. Like they're just throwing a dart at a number and saying it's 2 million. I have heard crazy stories about alien landings and that's where the UFOs actually go, is into the depths of the ocean. I have heard that there's, crazy under ocean whole alien cities.
Okay,
that's
not true.
No, but we don't. How do you know it's not true? We don't know. Is my point? Is because we have severely underfunded any sort of like ocean exploration and science and seriously, like I believe there's, and as this scientist pointed out, that this could start, like the medical science can be potentially revolutionized by the species and creatures and other whatever life forms that they are now finally uncovering under the ocean. I believe the mysteries to the earth, the answers are in the ocean. I don't know why. I just don't think it's in space. Sorry, Dr. Avi Loeb. I've interviewed him a couple of times. I don't think it's out there. I think it's here in the ocean.
I'm gonna look. I mean, obviously, the ocean is like something. It's either I think it's 3/4 of the Earth's surface, right? And I guess it's going to be more and more as the ocean waters keep rising due to climate change. So yeah, obviously, there's vast sections of it that are unmapped, unexplored, especially in the deep sea, especially in places like the Arctic and the Antarctic, the Southern Ocean. So. There's a lot of stuff to be unveiled. I mean, space is mostly empty, right? I mean, it's vacuum. So maybe that's why you're not going to find, at least in terms of if you're looking for life, you're just not going to find much, if anything.
But that's a Jamarl thing. Jamarl is way into space, as you know, Jamarl Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I'm interested in space, but not the way he is. And I've posited this idea to him, and he's just like, I don't know. I've never thought about the depths of the ocean. I was like, yeah, like you think the answers to our universe or our existence or whatever are in outer space. I don't know about the answers to our existence, but I believe that there are a lot more answers that we can find more immediately in the depths of the ocean, and we've never really bothered to explore that. So personally, I hope, I don't know what the NASA equivalent to the ocean is. I don't know what that, see how severely underfunded it is?
It's the oceanic, the National Atmospheric and Oceanic.
It's NOAA?
It's NOAA. Mm-hmm.
NOAA, yeah. But do they do deep dives and stuff like that?
I don't know, but that's their purview.
Oh. Well, I don't. Yeah,
I think a lot of that stuff gets done by, by academic institutions like
James Cameron,
like Woods Hole, Massachusetts, and places like that.
Or billionaire filmmakers like James Cameron.
That's true. They do that. That's true.
Yeah, I think the ocean is fascinating and terrifying because, I mean, not that Loch Ness is in the ocean, but it's waterways, right? I feel like there's so much we don't know about the ocean. And
that's true. I mean,
like
what's crazy
more about the stars.
What's crazy about the ocean is that you still discover not just a new species of like a tiny thing, but right. We're still in the modern era discovering things like the colossal squid, which you can argue like you're anti-tentacle, but the point is that even objectively it's colossal. So it deserves mad
respect.
How
much calamari that can make, Ted? Sounds delicious.
Maybe so. I don't know if it's like that kind of thing. I don't know.
If you get them young, Ted, then it's like nice and like not super
Mm.
chewy. Calamari.
Yeah, I don't know if you can eat them or not. But
The squid. Why wouldn't you be able to?
I don't know.
People
No
eat
reason.
bison.
Well, that's true.
People eat horse.
That's true. They do.
So yeah, I bet you a baby colossal squid. Yum.
But not a big one?
No, because then they get too muscly and chewy. So I would bet like a adolescent or younger colossal squid would be delicious. Calamari. Like everybody loves calamari, right, Ted? I mean,
I do, but
I love
don't know.
calamari.
I don't know. It's a little much to say that everybody loves calamari.
That's true.
Vegans don't like it. Well, they might like it, but they don't eat it.
That's true. So a lot of people, they're actually, I can't believe this, but a lot of people don't like seafood.
I used to
or they have allergies.
I went through a phase of being that because my mom used to give me a lot of it, and it just
Wait, is seafood a big thing in French culture?
Well, it is if you're Breton. They literally have. I'm not even kidding. You know how like they have like 150 words to describe the color of the sea. I mean, it's an ocean faring. Yeah, it's Brittany. It's that part of France that sticks out into the ocean. They're all fishermen and sailors, all of them.
John Kiriakou has a seafood allergy.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I always have to remember that when like we go out to eat in our friend groups, and I always have to keep in mind, like if I'm the one picking and John's coming, I'm like, oh, John can't. Yeah, he might die. Let's not go there.
But death would be bad. We don't want that.
Yeah, I do not want to be responsible for John Kiriakou's death.
People will be mad at you if you kill John.
I would be mad at me.
Yeah.
I love John. So so I steer. I love seafood, but I steer. You would lose a fine co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll tell you. Ask him about his seafood allergy. So I'm if I ever invite him over,
and he's Greek too. That's got to be horrible.
I know.
It's such a staple of Greek food.
I know. So I don't know if it's all, but it's at least some seafood. So I just steer clear of it. If I know if John's invited, I just steer clear of it because I don't want to be responsible for hurting him. So
that's fair.
So I just steer clear. So anyway, moving on. You got this next one. This is a TED science story.
Okay, here we go. Although Earth's two hemispheres lie on opposite sides of the planet, obviously, and differ in many ways, they share a particular commonality, or at least they used to. The northern and southern hemispheres reflected nearly the same amount of sunlight back into space. That balance, though long considered odd, is now coming to an end as new data reveals that one side of Earth actually is darkening faster than the other. 24 years worth of data from NASA's Clouds and the Earth's Radiant Energy System, or CERES mission, have led a team of scientists to discover that the northern hemisphere absorbs more sunlight than the southern hemisphere. This shift in the energy balance of the planet could have lasting impacts, of course, on weather patterns, rainfall, and the overall climate, according to a new study. Earth receives its energy from the sun, of course, and reflects part of it back to space. This is known as albedo, a measure of the percent of sunlight reflected by a surface. Throughout the year, the southern and northern hemispheres receive the same amount, with each one receiving more sunlight at different times of the year, of course. The southern hemisphere is dominated by oceans, which absorb more light. The northern hemisphere has more land and less sea ice, which absorbs heat faster and reflects less sunlight. In the early 2000s, satellite data revealed that the two hemispheres reflect the same amount of solar energy back into space. Scientists had expected the hemispheres to differ, but data showed that the clouds in the southern hemisphere were slightly thicker and more reflective, balancing out the darker land surfaces in the northern hemisphere. The new study, however, suggests that the once balanced system is coming to an end. CERES, launched in 1997, measures the amount of sunlight absorbed by the Earth and the amount of infrared energy emitted back into space. The team behind the study analyzed CERES data between 2001 and 2024, and they found that the North absorbs 0.34 watts more solar energy per square meter per decade than the South. The analysis looked at three main driving factors: melting snow and ice, declining air pollution, and rising water vapor. It made a lot of sense. Norman Loeb, climate scientist at Langley Research Center, that's part of NASA, and lead author of the new study. The northern hemisphere's surface is getting darker because snow and ice are melting, which exposes the land and the sea beneath. Pollution has gone down in places like China, the US, and Europe. It means there are fewer aerosols in the spray in the air to reflect sunlight. By the way, geoengineering schemes are often involved injecting aerosols into the air. In the southern hemisphere, it's the opposite. Additionally, the northern hemisphere is warming faster and therefore holds more water vapor, which tends to absorb sunlight rather than reflect it. That's another reason the northern hemisphere takes in more heat, he added. The study notes that clouds naturally compensate for hemispheric asymmetry. And as a result, there should be more cloud reflection in the northern hemisphere than in the south. The data shows no change in cloud cover thus far. How clouds respond to this imbalance has important implications for future climate. Yes, it does.
So
that's super interesting.
Yeah, I thought you would find that one really interesting.
I do. Thank you for finding that. Yeah.
So I guess, I never really thought about the land mass imbalance between north and south and how that. I mean, I just never I never thought of it that way. But I guess there is more land mass on the northern hemisphere and how we absorb. So then, why does it appear warmer in the south?
What do you mean? Why does it? It doesn't.
Like the temperature. No, temperatures are warmer. Like if you're in I don't know, Brazil in their summer, right? It's their summer is hotter.
Yeah, I know the answer to this question.
Than our summer.
Okay, Manila, it's a latitude issue, right? So if you're in like Brazil, for example, Brazil, I mean, the equator goes through Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Right, through the northern part. I mean, basically, Brazil is a place that is closer to the hottest places on Earth. Generally, are equatorial. I mean, obviously, there's exceptions.
Okay, so what would be like? What would be the latitude equivalent to, let's say, central Mexico and down? How many latitudes?
The point is that generically,
it seems hotter.
On average, like if you're 20 degrees latitude, the north should have the same. You're going to have the same temperatures as 20 degrees, southern latitude.
South, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
I've never. It always just seemed like they're hotter.
The reason is because we don't go. There's not a lot. First of all, there's not a lot of land in the southern hemisphere. If you look at, say, the amount of land that's at, like, say, 40 degrees latitude north versus the amount of land that's at 40 degrees latitude south.
Okay.
There's a lot more in the north than there is in the south. So you're just likelier to go there. I mean, most people who go to South America, the average person, where do they go? Rio.
Right by the equator.
Right. That's why.
But then I have like my Aussie family that always tell me how horrifically hot it is at Christmas. Or it was. I don't know about now. And they had that hole in their ozone layer.
Yeah, they do.
So, I remember them being panicked about that in the 90s, and they were always saying how horrifically hot it was. And then we saw those massive fires in Australia. This is something Dr. Reese is super passionate about just a few years ago, right? The koalas getting singed, right, from these natural wildfires.
Don't singe the koala.
I know, how sad, even though they all have like STDs and we're like, at you.
Because they're
so cute.
Because they're slutty whores.
They're always high and yeah, they're banging around like the koalas be banging. So they all have STDs.
Yeah, because they're gross, slutty skanks.
True story.
When I see koala, really I see whore, hoe bag.
Don't slut shame the koala, Ted.
I'm slut shaming the shit out of those koalas, the little fucking horny fucking bastards.
Like they
Shit
sleep
deals.
all day, they're high, they eat, and bang.
That's what they do.
So
That's their deal.
a life. That is a life, man. But anyway, they're like they're not facing extinction, but they are their environment, their habitat is not safe because Australia is getting hotter than it's ever been. And that's something Dr. Reese is super because he I think he did his PhD out there or something. So and he stayed out there for many years. So Dr. Reese is very passionate about Australia. So there's that. But yeah, I thought it was a strange story about I never thought about the hemispheres, how much land mass, water mass, how the sun gets absorbed from north versus south, the molecules in the air. It is so much more complex than we bother to think about, Ted, and like why it's such a delicate balance and how fragile the planet actually is if you think about it down to the fucking water vapor in the air. Like it's fucking fragile. It's crazy.
Very, very.
So and with the melting Antarctic glaciers and revealing new whatever that's been stored under 400 feet under the water.
Under the ice, yeah.
Ice water. We're gonna find the missing link there, Ted.
We already have the missing link. That's Stephen Miller.
Oh no, he's not totally a knuckle dragger. Like
what?
Maybe.
He's
Stephen Miller,
literally the worst human being that's ever existed.
I agree, but I don't think he's necessarily like he's not hairy enough. At least I don't think.
Oh, right.
I don't think he's hairy enough for us to make the leap from like Neanderthal and Homo erectus to leap into Homo sapien. There's that link that's missing. That's why it's called the missing link. Maybe it's
that is why it's called that. Yeah.
So that's why it's called that. So maybe it's in Antarctica. I don't know. It's all been frozen and we haven't explored the water. So I don't know. Anyway, last story. Here's the fun thing. Speaking about lawsuits. So Ted, I don't know if this is like Western influence into everywhere, right? Like when I lived in the Middle East, the Burj Khalifa had not yet been completed, right? It was maybe halfway, if that, maybe a third way to completion. So I watched that thing being built, right, for a couple of years. And when I was there, I guess with the influx of Americans going in 2007, 2008, we brought with us Halloween. We brought with us Thanksgiving. And then the weird part was seeing other people celebrate these American holidays, right? Because they were like, we're like, as an American, I'm like, why are you celebrating Thanksgiving? Like you're
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, that's sort of like that's like the
dinner?
Jews who celebrate Christmas. I'm like, what's with you guys? What are you doing?
That's cool.
I don't do Kwanzaa.
Why? You know? Right. I'm like, that's cool, but why? Like, why?
Yeah, what's it to you?
What's it to you? Like, why? I don't. Halloween, I get. Right. Halloween, I get. Kids like to dress up and everywhere.
Halloween is non-denominational.
Right.
Unless you're a Satanist, in which case it's a high holiday. That's
true. But like it's a very American thing, and they started doing that in the UAE, and now it's a thing. So this is why it all plays into this story. So we're also a sue happy culture, Ted, and let me just say, our culture of suing everybody for anything and everything has reached the Eastern world. This story will explain. So a Chinese family, a Chinese family sued their daughter's school after the child, and they don't disclose how old the child is exactly. So we don't know if we're talking about a preschooler or if we're talking about a high school junior. We don't know. Just
it could be Manila. It could be a grad student.
It could be. It's their child.
The child could be 60 years old.
Right. We don't know. I assume it's a minor.
One would think.
I would think it's like a middle school or high schooler is what I glean from this story. But nonetheless, a Chinese family suing the school because their kid, she was diagnosed with acute and transient psychotic disorder, allegedly caused by a horror movie that was playing in her class. The unusual case actually began 2 years ago, so it kind of wrapped up finally 2 years later. It just wrapped up this month in October on near its anniversary. So the court just decided. So in October of 2023, because their teacher was on temporary leave, a class of students at a school in Hangzhou in China's Guangxi province watched a movie screened by the school with their parents' consent and their teacher's consent. No details about the film have been disclosed to the press, but according to the parents of the students, it was a horror movie that had a very serious impact on at least one girl. Problems allegedly began on the evening after they watched the movie. They say the young girl had began exhibiting unusual symptoms, including incoherence and loss of touch with reality.
Wait, maybe she's just becoming American.
An American teenager. Panicked by her behavior, her parents took her to a local hospital where she was then diagnosed with acute and transient psychotic disorder. The student's parents then filed a lawsuit against the school seeking 30,000 yuan, which is $42,000 US in damages. They claim that
Wait. I'm calling bullshit on that. I don't think that's the exchange rate.
That's what the story said. I thought the US, yeah.
I thought it was about 8 to the dollar. Yeah, I'm right. So
it's the other way, right?
So it's 8 yuan to or 7 yuan to the dollar. So 30,000 yuan. I mean, this is very important for everyone to understand.
I don't know them now.
Obviously, I know you deeply care about this. It's 4,000. Okay, it's $4,200 in damages.
4,200. So they did the math wrong.
Whoever wrote the article doesn't know their decimal points. Okay.
4,200. That's it.
Yeah, 4,200. Yeah.
So 30,000 yuan. So either way, the parents filed the suit for 30,000 yuan, whatever that equates to in dollars. They claimed that watching this horror movie directly contributed to their daughter's mental illness and that the school failed to properly fulfill its educational supervision duties. Medical records showed that neither the child nor other members of her family had any history of mental illness. On the other hand, the school denied responsibility, insisting that the student's psychotic disorder had been caused by her special constitution or potentially existing mental problems. The school's lawyer told the court that it only accepted 10% responsibility. We don't accept full responsibility. We accept 10% responsibility for driving your daughter crazy. Before an official verdict was given by the court, a heated dispute erupted on Chinese social media, with some claiming that the school could have screened a safer movie, while others were defending it, claiming that the student's psychotic disorder was only transient, meaning it eventually went away with treatment and medication. In the end, a judge ruled that the school who authorized the horror movie was negligent in approving the screening and was 30% responsible for the girl's mental breakdown. The court ordered them to pay 9,182 yuan in compensation through their insurance. Acute and transient psychotic disorder can occur even in people with no prior history of mental illness, with situations where fear or anxiety is extremely heightened being the most common triggers. Treatment usually involves antipsychotic medication, relaxation therapy, and psychotherapy. But even though most patients make a full recovery, follow-up psychiatric monitoring is crucial in preventing relapse. Movies making you crazy? I mean, I feel like I've heard of stories like that. I mean, maybe not full on like medically diagnosed psychosis, but certainly movies like in the 1950s, like a UFO movie came out, right? And then everybody thought, oh, like New York's being invaded, like.
Well, are you
So
thinking? Wait, are you thinking
like
about
mass psychosis.
Are you thinking about the radio show H.G. Wells, the War of the Worlds, where?
Well, there's that, and then like when the first UFO movies were becoming a thing, like during the I Love Lucy era, like in the 1950s. So much so that Lucy, the I Love Lucy show had a spoof about it. Like they spoofed the whole UFO movie genre, and that was like 1956. So I've heard of like mass psychosis being influenced from movies or TV, media, whatever. But I'm sure there's got to be precedent that's set here in the US with people having gone mad after watching a scary movie, maybe any movie, I don't know. That's like our brains are that fragile, Ted. But again, we don't know how old or young this girl is. So if this girl is, let's say she's a high school age girl, let's say she's 16, right? Let's just go with a 16, because I don't foresee any school showing a horror movie to a 10-year-old class, right? Like a 3rd or 4th grade class. Like I don't foresee that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to bet this is middle or high school. So let's say she's like 16 years old. Can you really have a mental break from watching a scary movie?
100%. Movies are,
really?
Movies are effective. That's part of the reason that people watch them, and of course they can affect you mentally. I mean, if you watch think about all the emotions that are elicited. I'm not going to enumerate, but a movie is meant to elicit a set of emotions or an emotion, and a horror movie is meant to cause fear, anxiety, worry. All of these things could cause a traumatic episode, no question about it. So, I mean, there's documented cases of horror movies and other movies, non-horror movies, causing, psychotic breaks among Americans. I think the judge here, let me give you some examples. So
the judge ruled the school was only 30% responsible.
For example, so multiple Americans with bipolar or schizoaffective disorder say that horror movies induce hallucinations. One documented case, 21 years old.
But that's pre-existing schizophrenic, right? Like they had pre-existing schizophrenia and they watched a scary movie.
Okay, all right, fair. But here we go. In 2018, a anonymous American woman this was described in Schizophrenia Bulletin. Watched The Net, a thriller. I would say it was less than thrilling, but okay. About a woman trapped in a digital conspiracy in a darkened theater. She was triggered with an immediate breakdown of consciousness, where she began interpreting everyday details, license plates, strangers' glances as coded messages. This spiraled into a 7-month psychotic break, leading her to her hospitalization. She was later diagnosed with schizophrenia. The Matrix case. In 2003, Tonda Lynn Ansley, Washington State chick, tried to steal 5 cars from a car dealership, claiming that they were hers in a simulated reality that she had just seen The Matrix. She argued in court that the film convinced her that the world is fake, leading to her actions. In 2002, Joshua Cook, 19 years old, from Ohio, murdered his adoptive parents. He blamed The Matrix. He said that he thought killing them would wake him up from the simulation. He was convicted of murder and then diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. So I guess I think the judge was very wise here. The judge assessed that even though she'd never been diagnosed with mental illness, clearly she had some sort of pre-existing condition. That's why he said she was only that she's 70% responsible for having had a psychotic episode. But it's also true that you have to ask whether you're in Botswana, Vanuatu, Japan, or China, what kind of psychotic school shows horror movies to kids?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my thing. Like that's
the 30%. That's your 30% right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck kind of school? Like,
and that's going to cost you $1,600.
Like I get
that's
like,
how that works.
And so this is October.
So. I say this judge is an excellent judge. I would be happy to take any.
Yeah.
I would be happy to go up in front of a judge. I mean, these Chinese, the Chinese are really good at these kind of cases. And like also a lot of stuff is adjudicated right on the spot in China. Like, for example, if you have a car accident, like the cops will come right away and they'll be like, you, Manila, you caused accident. Like, you pay him now.
You turn left. You make accident.
1,300 yuan right now. And then you're like, fuck that. And then there's arguing, and then the guy's like, blah, blah, blah. And then finally it's like, you have to pay. Otherwise,
then and there?
Right there and then. Don't leave home without it, because you might need it.
You need to Venmo Ted. You just hit him. You need to Venmo him right now in front of me.
Right now. Well, the Chinese were long expected to always carry lots of cash. So it's just to deal with situations like this. But I'm sure that's not true anymore with, like you said, with Venmo. So
wow. Well,
I don't know. I think it's like, it's like, it sounds funny because we are in this libertarian society where it's like, dude, it's on you if you're fucked up. But like, but it's like, she was a kid.
No, either way.
And she's in school. And
I'm assuming
they have a responsibility to take care of your, when you drop off your kid at school, you expect that they're taking care of them, not traumatizing.
Trying to scare the shit out of them.
Think about all the people who freaked out when they saw The Exorcist or Jaws, and they didn't want to go to the ocean. They didn't want to go swimming anymore. I mean, that's a real thing.
You cannot be showing that shit at school.
There are people who don't go on cruises because they saw the Poseidon Adventure. There are people who don't want to live in a high-rise apartment or visit a high-rise office building because they watch Towering Inferno. I mean, come on, that's easy to see.
There are people that hate small, petite Asian women with long, dark hair, Ted, because of The Ring.
Okay, there you go. I just hate the movie The Ring because it's so boring. But like, that's me.
But so that's my only gripe is how this even happened in the first place. Like, I find it funny that the judge ruled, that, because I guess we don't do it that way here. That 30%. So yeah, that part just sounds funny to me. My ultimate gripe with the whole story is, why the hell would the school do that in the first place?
Well, because they're stupid.
And so they deserve,
obviously,
maybe if anything, they deserve to be fined more than that. And I can't believe the parents only pursued 30,000 yuan, but then I started thinking, oh, well, maybe they have a different healthcare system. So the kid the family didn't need to pay that much for her psychiatric care.
Also, I mean, your money goes further in China. It just does.
Oh, well, see, I've not been, so I would like to, and I would like to go. I would like to. It's on the bucket list.
I love it. It's fantastic.
I want to do the Great Wall. I want to,
I mean, it's impossible to see everything. But it's a very, very cool place to go.
Yeah, I've seen enough video, and I've seen, I want to go, and I don't know if you're allowed to go sit in on court cases, but I would like to see how they do things there.
Well, you wouldn't understand it because it would all be in Mandarin.
Yeah, but then you maybe have a translator app or whatever. I don't know, but I would
Mm.
like to just see how things are done. I like seeing how things are done in other countries.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
all.
know if the public can just attend any trial the way that
Oh,
you can here in the United States. It's
oh,
one of
well.
I love that about the United States, that anyone can go see a trial.
All right, we'll leave that there. So that's, you guys talk about the scary movies. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the story. I just found it interesting, and it ties in perfectly to Halloween. And I know, Ted, you know what hell, what wrath I would bring down upon the school
Oh my
if
God.
they showed my kid
I would be
some horror movie.
terrified.
The just raining down Manila hell on the school.
Yeah, that would be really not recommended. Yeah.
That would be the horror movie.
True.
With the ring with my hair all like, my kid is having nightmares and I can't sleep now.
Spoiler alert, it was the top of a well. Okay. Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Adios.